Doom Eternal is the best first-person shooter that I've ever played. It has amazing graphics, the game looks stunning, the gameplay is outstanding and ridiculously fast-paced. Then the game gives you lots of really cool weapons, and most of these weapons they come with multiple firing modes, which makes them even more fun to use. You get two different types of shotguns, then you have a ballistic machine gun which also converts into this really cool and fun to use sniper rifle, and it also has this rocket firing capability in another firing mode. Then you have multiple energy weapons, an energy rifle and a chain gun, and the chain gun has the ability to give you a force field in order to protect you from incoming fire, and the rifle also has multiple firing modes which is really cool. Then you also have a rocket launcher and a crossbow, and the crossbow is actually pretty nasty. And of course you have the BFG as well, which is devastating. Then along with all those really cool guns, you have a flamethrower, you have two different types of grenades, and you have a chainsaw as well, and you can go berserk with it. You're gonna need to refuel it, but yeah, that thing is fantastic. We are not done with the weapons yet. You've also got a crucible blade that you get your hands on later on, which is pretty overpowered and is fantastic to use. And I've got one question for those of you who've already played this game. What is your favorite gun from the game? Do let me know down in the comment section and let's move on. So yeah, the game gives you tons of weapons with multiple firing modes and stuff, and to complement all this, you've got amazing enemy variety. This amazing enemy variety actually forces you to use your entire arsenal of weapons, as different weapons are effective against different types of enemies, so yeah, you're gonna have to use all of them. And all this switching of weapons and using your entire arsenal while in combat makes the entire experience really fun and really chaotic. It is hard to actually sum it up in words, but I'm actually gonna try on this one. So yeah, here goes. So while in combat, if you take damage, you lose your armor first of all, and in order to replenish that on the go while in a fight, you have to use your flamethrower to set your enemies on fire, which gives you armor. And then the flamethrower, it has a cooldown period, so you have to keep that in mind. And then in order to replenish your ammo while in combat, you'll have to chainsaw the weaker enemies, because you can't use the chainsaw on the stronger ones. So you have to keep in mind that you don't end up killing them straight away, because they are a great source for ammo in a hectic fight, and also for armor, because you can set them on fire and they give you all that armor and stuff. When damaged to a certain degree, the enemies they start to flash, and you can perform some really cool looking brutal finishers at this point. And you also have a blood punch available as well, which is really cool. So yeah, there is a whole lot more to the combat than just the shooting, and it is something that cannot be summed up in words and should not be summed up in words. It should be experienced, as it is something unique. Then the game also has some really cool boss fights and stuff, and yeah, they are fairly challenging as well. Overall, the gameplay is just phenomenal and something totally worth experiencing. You've got multiple difficulty options if you want a tougher challenge, but even on normal difficulty, the game can actually challenge you quite a bit at times, like it did to me on a particular level, where I died a ton of times because I was like constantly overrun with enemies, and it was because I was completely unaware of the fact that there was a demon or a baddie present on the level who was like respawning all these bad guys. So yeah, it took me a while to figure out that I have to deal with that guy first of all in order to deal with the others and then progress. So yeah, the gameplay is actually ridiculously fun, but one thing that bugged me a bit on my first playthrough was the platforming. Simply put, there were times when I never knew where to go next, and there was a lot of trial and error involved into finding out where to go. So I jumped to my death a ton of times in the game, and it was kind of frustrating. But yeah, nothing major. Another strength of the title is the environmental variety present across levels, and yeah, it keeps things from looking monotonous, and the game is, like I said, really cool to look at. Then there is one more major positive that I want to talk about before wrapping things up, and that is scalability and optimization. This is a really good looking game, and it is really fast paced too, and they've managed to cram this thing onto the Nintendo Switch, which is just insane. I myself played this title for the first time back in 2021 on a non-gaming laptop featuring an AMD APU. It was the Ryzen 5 3500U with the Vega 8 iGPU. Nothing special, nothing powerful at all. And that thing managed to give me about 40 to 45 FPS with 80% rescale at 720p. And with some sharpening thrown into the mix, it actually looked pretty good, much better than what I expected from that weak little APU. Was it a compromised experience? Yes, of course, in terms of graphics, but not in terms of gameplay. I would have loved to have a 60 FPS experience, but unfortunately it was not possible even on 50% of 720p. It was just impossible to get a locked 60 experience, so I stuck with the 80% rescale with some sharpening to get some visuals, and then the 40-45 FPS was really enjoyable. The game design is such that it feels so speedy and fluid, and it was very stable, 40-45 fps. So yeah, I had no complaints, and I had a lot of fun with the title even on that low end system. So yeah, this title scales really well on lower end systems, and then it can look absolutely stunning on higher settings and give you amazing frame rates, those higher refresh rates and stuff as well, which is fantastic. That means the title has amazing reach, and almost anyone can enjoy this game with semi-decent kind of PC. This is a game where the immersion, it is tied to the gameplay and not the graphics. The graphics are fantastic, don't get me wrong, but even if you have those settings toned down and are on a Maykr system like I was back in the day, you can still have a great experience because of the gameplay, because the central focus is the gameplay. Unlike something like RDR2, where the primary focus or the central focus is on the graphics, the scenery, the beauty of the environments and stuff. So yeah, that is the thing. And yeah, I never tried to understand the story and stuff, because when the gameplay is that good, I don't really care. After completing the story, you can replay any of your favorite levels whenever you want to, with infinite ammo and stuff, which is something that I love. And yeah, I highly recommend this title, even if you have a low-end system, because you can totally enjoy it on a system like I did. This is the best first-person shooter in my books, and if you feel the same, do leave a like, and if you don't, then do let me know which title is it in your books. Do check out other videos on the channel, and thank you very much for watching, guys. Peace out.